what's happening with the Daffodils? Give us an update. You guys been trying to do gigs and keep having to reschedule. I know that.
Yeah, well, we're hopefully if the rest of the country moves to level 1 on Monday, which I think they're supposed to at the moment. We've got a show in Wellington next Saturday,
right?
Which is the beginning of the tour that we were supposed to be doing in April.
Yeah,
which was the first one we had to reschedule. So we're redoing that with the same dates, but also including Littleton this time, which we didn't have on that original.
Good. Okay.
The original dates, yeah. So that's going to be really cool. I'm really excited to get back to doing shows and stuff.
Yep.
But I am a little bit wary that
don't want to get too excited.
Kind of all over the place at the moment. Yeah.
Because you're doing these elemental shows as well, right?
Yes, yeah. So that's the last date of the second to last date of the tour, which is like our Auckland show, is the one with Elemental, which is really exciting. Yeah, cool. I think that's at Hopetown Alpha.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Have you been there?
No, I've actually never been inside. Like, I love the outside of the building, but I've never.
Pretty intense in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a show back in the '90s in there, and there was this guy. His name is Tony Conrad. He was one of the original guys who helped form the Velvet Underground. He was into this whole droney thing with John Cale and all these other guys. And man, the guy literally played. He sat up in the balcony, so all you could see was a shadow being cast onto the wall where everybody could see. And he was playing like a cello or something. He just played one note for like an hour and a half.
Oh, that's awesome. That's kind of crazy.
It was an endurance test. It was fantastic. Yeah. People were racing for the doors. But I'm sure that won't be what happens at your show. So it's been a little while since you guys played up here, and we should catch up. How are you doing? Have you got more songs? What's the band doing these days?
Yeah, we put out an EP in October last year, this is the tour that was kind of like the tour for that, but it's been so long since we put it out that it almost doesn't feel like it anymore. But that was like a 5-track EP that we've been working on for a year and a bit. So yeah, that's been out for a while, and we're in the midst of, we haven't been able to go to the studio recently, but we're in the midst of writing a new EP. Right. So that's sort of the one in the works at the moment.
So you're going the EP route rather than the LP route?
At the moment, yeah. It's sort of, I feel like people often, if you're a smaller artist, they don't necessarily have that same attention span for an album.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been getting kind of inundated with EPs lately, so yeah, it makes sense. It must be the way to go.
Yeah, well, it means, it's like a short kind of album record, but you can still have that conceptual idea that you would with a record, but it's a little bit more accessible for people to listen to, I think. Yeah. So I kind of like that as like
it's a bite-size album.
Yeah. And like, while we're still figuring out what we want to be doing with everything, it kind of makes sense to not necessarily like commit to something that big when we're still like definitely.
So you're still trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, a little bit. I think kind of it always changes, right? But it's that process is made a little bit easier by not committing to like a full album. Right. Feels like an album feels like it kind of like legitimizes a sound a bit more than an EP does. So EPs for us is like a real good way of playing with things and getting like comfortable with what we want and like all of that stuff. Gotcha.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, when you guys were up here, nobody was even close to being 20 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Has anyone hit the grand old age yet?
I'm 21. I was 21.
Oh, congratulations. Has it been that long? My God.
Yeah, it's been a wee while. I had my birthday in the second lockdown.
Nice one. So did I, actually.
Oh, really? Happy birthday.
But I'm way past 21, that's for sure. So how is the band? Does the band change much in as you guys are kind of getting used to each other and getting a little bit older and getting used to being in a band?
Yeah, like I definitely think that all of our friendships have developed a bit more, which I think is it's really cool because it means we've all gotten closer. And then the music's kind of changed a bit too. Like we've been playing around with different aspects that we possibly wouldn't have a year or so ago. It's really cool. It's like opened a bunch of doors for us. So like being able to play with, because up until now we've only really ever done the like 4 instruments on a stage. That's kind of it thing. And we're now trying to incorporate a little bit more of other things like texture things, being able to run like samples and those kind of things as well. So we've been playing around with those kind of ideas that kind of open some doors in terms of where we can go with those songs.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of been the big thing recently that we've been focusing on a little bit. But that also just like gives us less restriction in terms of what we can put into the songs.
Sure.
Because then it's not just restricted to, one guitar and one keyboard part, and
right.
Kind of makes it like, yeah.
Because there used to be a stigma attached to having, loops and pedals and things especially for a guitar-driven band. It was like, oh, you guys are cheating. But that seems to be out the window these days. I think.
I mean it's just like, you could probably make the same argument about synthesizers or whatever, but like it's not really. I don't think those two things are necessarily related. It's just a way of giving your audience more of a rounded experience, and also like being able to provide people with or like show people your actual vision for the music, rather than just like limiting yourself to what you can do live, like yourself. And so that's kind of where we stand on that. Like, I still love the idea of just getting up there with the instruments and being able to like bash out the songs.
Right.
And so I like most of that will still just be the same. It's just like adding on top of that, which I think is what we're focusing on a bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
So songwriting, has that been tootling along nicely?
Yeah, it has actually. We've got a whole like big bunch of them that we're going to start demoing for this EP we're working on at the moment, which is really exciting actually. I found the second lockdown was really productive in terms of songwriting compared to the first one.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something about it was a little bit easier. We've moved into a flat as well, and so 3 of us are living in the same house, which actually makes it a lot easier than when we're all split apart at our parents' places in the first lockdown. Yeah.
So do you write together as a unit?
Yeah, we've actually been doing a lot more of that recently. And Isaac drives up from South Auckland on once a week to like sit in my room for 6 hours and try and smash some stuff out. But yeah, it's been really cool. As it means as well, like if you come up with something you really like, you can just yell down the hall and be like, "Can you come listen to this? Like, I need an opinion on." That kind of makes it a bit easier too. Yeah.
And I assume it's the same 4 people in the band since you guys were here. Yep. So
it is indeed.
Over the years, have roles changed, or people kind of getting comfortable about what is expected of them?
Yeah, I think so. It's sort of one of those things where it's kind of just like what we need to do to make the songs the way we want them. And in like a live sense, not much has changed. Like our roles in the band are pretty similar to what they were when we came in last time. I think it's just like, people getting a little bit more comfortable with everyone, and like it's sort of that, like we've known each other for so long now that everything's kind of getting a bit easier.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
Cool. So when things start to get more normal, what is your focus going to be, recording or performing?
Bit of both, I think. Like
that's not focus.
Yeah. desperate to get some new songs underway in the studio, but I'm also really desperate to go and do some more shows. So I guess it'll be finding a balance between those things.
Yeah.
Especially because we're probably not going to be able to leave the country for ages. So the more shows we can do here, the better. Make the most of having like a place to actually play. Whereas most of the world, no one really has that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you feel like you kind of laid down some serious groundwork before? I know you guys were playing out quite a bit, so are you feeling comfortable about your place in the place?
Yeah, definitely. I think like it's always going to be weird when you go nearly 6 months without playing a gig, but that's that's just a bridge that you cross when you come to it.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like a little bit nervous about doing shows again, but it won't be that different from before.
Once you get up on, should just fall into place, right?
Yeah. So kind of why I'm glad that our first show's in Welly. And
so we'll hear some new songs when we see you again?
Ooh, potentially. We might have a couple.
Potentially, I like it.
Yeah. No, there'll definitely be a couple. We're still figuring out which ones we're gonna stick in the set, but yeah.
Excellent.
No, I'm really excited about those.
Well,
shows.
I hope to see you soon on stage in the flesh. I've seen so many musicians lately, just flat images on my laptop here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I need 3-dimensionals. All right. Well, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, whereabouts are you in Auckland or where?
Oh, yeah, no, we're in Greyland.
In Greyland?
Yeah.
All right. So, very good. I just wanted to make sure I knew where you're from. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Somewhere, sometime.